Welcome to the Refine and Shine, the podcast dedicated to mastering the art of continuous improvement and optimizing every aspect of your life. I'm Angelina Rivera, your host, and together we'll uncover the secrets to refining our lives, our habits, and our processes to unlock our inner brilliance. Join us on Refine and Shine, where we'll delve deep into achieving more in life without the burnout and without all the stress. This podcast is your platform for a more fulfilling life through continuous improvement and personal growth. In each episode, I and a diverse array of guests discuss practical strategies for up-leveling every aspect of your life. From developing good habits and organizing your space to refining your mindset and personal goals, we're going to explore it all. Our guests share personal stories about the systems they've developed or systems they've used and the tweaks they've made in their lives when refinement was needed, allowing them to truly shine. Listen to Refine and Shine to learn how you can implement continuous improvement techniques in your daily routine, develop and maintain healthy habits that lead to success and satisfaction, organize your life to reduce the stress and increase your productivity, foster a growth mindset that propels you to new heights. My mission is to inspire you to take bold action, make positive changes, and become the best version of yourself. Whether you're aiming to elevate your career, nurture meaningful relationships, or enhance your overall well-being, Refine and Shine is your guiding light. With over 25 years of experience in continuous improvement, I help businesses streamline their processes, establish efficient work areas, and implement standard work protocols. I have trained over 600 individuals and teams in process improvement, optimizing workflows, and enhancing overall operational efficiency. Tune in every week as we embark on an enlightening journey, exploring paths to refinement and illuminating the way to shine in every area of our lives. Subscribe now and join us on this journey to polish your life and let your best self shine through. Thank you for joining us on Refine and Shine. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Refine and Shine podcast. I'm so excited for you guys to get to know my guest today. Her name is Maria Ellena. She is a global business owner, a women's mentor, and the founder of LDC Agency. She is based in the Philippines. She leads property operations for an Airbnb company in Makati, I hope I said that right, while building online businesses and helping women worldwide evaluate their digital presence and their income. Her story began with survival. 6 months in a coma following a life-altering accident, she didn't simply recover, she rebuilt with clarity, discipline, and purpose. She's originally from Canada. Maria's journey to the Philippines became more than a relocation. It was a return, deepening her roots, reconnecting with her people, and rediscovering her ancestry as she built a life and legacy across continents. Today, she helps women turn resilience into strategy and vision into sustainable success. This just isn't business, it's living proof that you can rise, lead, and thrive anywhere in the world. So thank you, Maria, for being on here today.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that intro. It's so beautiful.
Well, I just love, and we were actually talking for quite a bit, and we're like, oh, we need to start recording this podcast because we were just connecting so much on the love of our animals, which she'll get into her
Right.
story in a little bit, but dogs and all the things. But I just want to know your journey. I mean, you were in this car accident, and then you had coma for 6 months, and then you go and leave the continent and start a whole new life somewhere else. Like, kind of take us through your journey that you've been through.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Adla. It's been such a journey. I mean, I feel like every day is such a beautiful, blessing. I'm so grateful to be alive. That's my
Hmm.
first thing is gratitude to being alive came because of being in this accident. About 13 years ago, I was in a really terrible relationship. And, we were at the brinks of just not doing so well. So I was driving down the streets of Richmond, Vancouver, and unfortunately, a vehicle hit my vehicle in the behind, and I spun 360 to a pillar on the highway. And I nearly lost my life. I was broken in separate areas. My spine was almost dismantled. I was squished to the point that they took them hours to get me out. And I remember just hearing my mother's voice asking me to come home. She's like, come back, please come back. I love you. I want you back. Let's reconnect. Let's get together. Because my mom and I, we had a very, like, I wouldn't say it was a terrible relationship as a kid. It was obviously a Filipino mother struggling in a foreign country like Canada, trying to make sure that her child had the best education. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
So it really dawned on me during my coma. I remember this truly and clearly. I met God. I really met God. And I walked paths with him. And he literally told me that your journey is not here and it's somewhere else. I had no idea what he meant, like at
Mhm.
all. That was 13 years ago. Well, technically 14 now, since I've
Mhm.
been over for about 14 years now. And when I woke up, I started doing businesses such as flooring companies, working with different like corporations, starting my agency. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. And, I went into this whole spiritual journey. And in that spiritual journey, I went into our woo-woo sides, right? We all
Mhm.
know it, right? You get into the spiritual side, you get into the kundalinis, astral projections, everything. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful understanding. But something felt like it was missing, like it wasn't complete. And I spiraled into this case of like not really knowing myself. I proclaimed myself to be this tarot reader, this, Akashic records reader, and all these things. And that was great, but it wasn't fulfilled in the point of a purpose that really anchored into who I was. So as I built my business into helping women online still, even spiritual women, how they could really position themselves, how they can place their business so that they can become much more clear in their positioning. I was still struggling with it myself. So I had to pull back. I pulled
Mhm.
back all of my business, everything else. And I said, no, I need to leave. I have to go somewhere. I went to Mexico for 6 months with a partner of mine at the time. And I said to myself, okay, like let's see how this goes. Me and that partner are no longer together, obviously. But we just drifted apart because he wanted something that I just wasn't sitting with. It just didn't
Mhm.
sit well with me. And so when I decided to come to the Philippines was when I was in Los Angeles, California, sitting on this is the funny part. I was sitting on a rooftop beach area, like a beach pool bar, having
Mhm.
drinks with this guy. And like it dawned on me. I kept talking about ancestry, ancestry, ancestry. And I was like, I don't even know who my ancestors are. I don't even know.
Mhm.
So I made a drastic decision. I said, I'm going to sell everything that I have and I'm going to move. And I did. I sold most of my items in Canada. I had just finalized on my house actually. And I said, I'm going to move. And then off I went on a one-way ticket to the Philippines. Well, actually, technically, I stopped in other areas first, but then I went to the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah. No, I get
Like
it.
I stopped in other spaces first, but then I went to the Philippines and it was one-way tickets the whole time. One-way ticket to Thailand, one-way ticket to Bali, one-way ticket to like, Vietnam. And then I was like, okay, let's go to the Philippines. And then I stopped here. And as soon as I landed, this was the crazy part. I had like this breath that I had never breathed before. And it wasn't like the Manila air or anything. It was like, when you land and you're just either really exhausted or you're really like, okay, I made it. Like I got to rush. No, it was like I land and I paused for the first time. I've never had that happen in the longest time. And I did. I paused when I was here. I didn't take on as many clients. I really just stayed true to myself. I connected with my ancestry, with my family. I traveled all over the Philippines, and I have been here for 2.5 years.
Wow. I think that that's so crazy. So you like we're in Canada, then you decided to go 6 months into Mexico, but you still, well, first of all, let's go back it all the way up. You got into this horrible car accident, and then so you were kind of ending this relationship. So obviously that ended right away with the coma, and I'm sure you've probably felt like figured out the true colors of this person and all the other things that go through it. So you're like in this breakup, you're healing from this accident, which you're also in a 6-month coma, which I'm sure was probably really hard to get through. Like I can't imagine you lost 6 months of your life because you're just in this coma, right? So then you're going through
Mhm.
all of these things, then you just decide like you start to, you're doing your business, you're doing everything. Then you go 6 months to Mexico and you're like, it's just not working. And then so period of that you're in California, which I'm a California girl, so I'm actually picturing you on those rooftops, like looking over the beach at this bar. And then you're like, wait a minute, I need to go back to where my ancestry is, and you decide to go to the Philippines. But you said you were closing on a house. Were you buying a house in Canada at the time?
No, I had
Oh,
just closed on my house in Canada,
oh,
actually, which I had for over 13 years, actually. So when I
okay.
was in Vancouver, I purchased a house in White Rock, BC,
Okay.
and we built it like it was me and my ex. We did everything, all of that together. And then as I decided to actually move here, I said, it's time to let go. I kept on to it because I was like, oh, it's my dream house. But I was like, no, there's just something that wasn't
Gotcha.
100% to it. I mean, it has a lot of beautiful history and also the history that I know still to this day will always pain me because
Hmm.
that's where we had decided to build together. And of
Hmm.
course, that never came through. So that's okay. I moved forward and so did he. He's happily married, has 2 kids. I'm happily in another country doing the things that I love. Right.
Gotcha.
And we never had a terrible breakup. It was more of like we just drifted apart
Hmm.
to the point where my vision and his vision was so beautiful together at the beginning. But then
Hmm.
all of a sudden there was different things that we wanted and different timelines that we were at. So it just wasn't aligning anymore. And to this day, he still messages me. It's like, hey, how's Philippines? I'm like, great, how's your kids? You know? So we're
Yeah.
still, we're still like, it's like we're friends still, like, and that's the beauty of it.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, do I want someone that I can spend the rest of my life with? Of course, everybody else does. That's very normal and human.
Hmm.
But I think, building this life and being in this space right now is what really will redefine the future of not just my children, but my relationships. And actually, what this built me is my relationship with God.
Hmm.
That was the missing component that I was searching for. And
Gotcha.
I hadn't had it for the longest time until I was here.
Hmm.
Is your business constantly busy, but still inefficient? If your team is working hard but things keep falling through the cracks, it's not a people problem, it's a process problem. This is where Refine Consulting comes in. I help businesses simplify operations and build systems that actually work. Here's how I do it, in just a few days. First, we get clarity. We identify where your time, energy, and money are being wasted. Then, we map your process, step by step, so you can actually see what's happening. Next, we simplify. We cut out delays, redundancies, and anything that's slowing you down. Then we build a system your team can follow, so everything doesn't depend on you. And finally, we implement, so you walk away with a clear plan and real results. No more guessing, no more chaos, just better systems. If you're ready to streamline your business and get your time back, go to refineconsultingllc.com and book your free discovery call. Let's refine your processes and help you shine.
Crazy, but it's true.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that you said so like you had this dream home in Canada and all the things. It just wasn't aligning anymore. And I think that so many times people hold on to what it was like in the beginning of a relationship or maybe even a job, a career, or all of these things, right? We all have these things that we hold on to because at the beginning the picture was so beautiful, but over time we evolve, we change, everybody changes. And if you're not changing, like there's times like where you have to just let go of things, like it's no longer serving you. And you were able to release that and go into something new. I've kind of did something similar not that long ago, but I didn't move across to another country or anything like that. But I left a job of 17 years that was stable because I wasn't feel like I wasn't evolving anymore. I wasn't growing. I was limiting myself and I knew I could go on to something else. And so I took a job. I live in California. I took a job in Maryland and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Why? It's risky. It's all these things." But it's like God puts desires on our heart and if we are not going for those things that he has put on our hearts, we're being disobedient to him. And there's so much of a gift in just going out there and just letting go and letting God, right? And that's what you
Yeah.
did when you went to the Philippines. And I love how you said when you landed, it was just like I can what you're describing to me is what I could say is just like a deep breath of peace and serenity.
Yes. It's exactly what it was. It was that moment, people say, oh, that aha moment or whatever, but no, it was like finding one's true self.
Hmm.
That's what it was.
I love that. I love that. What a risk though, right? Like you're going into this
Mhm.
foreign country. Had you ever been to the Philippines before that?
Well, yes. So my
Okay.
ancestry is Filipino and Spanish. Like my
Hmm.
dad's side is the Spaniard, my mom's side is the Filipina. And, you know, one of the main reasons that I came here was really being able to resurface that trust, that building of the trust and the things within myself,
Hmm.
right? Like one of the things that I used to do is I never used to proclaim I was Filipino for the longest time, you
Wow.
know, when we're kids, right? People, oh, you're Filipino, you must know how to make lumpia. And that's all they could ever base you on, which I was
Yeah.
like, is that all you know our culture to be? And I used to get super insulted. I really
Hmm.
did. I used to get super insulted. Oh, you're Filipino, so you're really good at hosting. Oh, you're Filipino, you must want to be a nurse. And it was something I grew up with, and no one ever really knew that actually pained my heart. So I would hide being Filipino for the longest time. I would really hide that because I was like, okay, because no matter where I would go, people are like, oh, you're Spanish. Yep, I am. But then that's would be it. I wouldn't even say no, but I'm Filipino too.
Hmm.
And, you know, to all my Filipino cultured people who are listening to this, I'm sorry for not embracing who I was to those who are listening to this. But I am glad that I came here to embrace them
Hmm.
because that's what it really was for me. I was able to embrace my culture.
Hmm.
And I think in the long run, we forget, living in the Americas, living in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, like all these different places that we have history with our ancestors somewhere.
Hmm.
And sometimes we wonder, oh, why am I so different? Why can't I be like this person or this person or this person? Well, first thing is you're not that person. You're
Right.
not. And second thing is it's because we're not truly embracing all of who we are. We're questioning it or we're shying away from it. Like I shied away from it. And
Hmm.
so coming to Philippines not only allowed me to redefine who I am on a spiritual level, but on a physical level, accept everything that I am. And
Right.
that is super hard sometimes to do and
Hmm.
admit because no one wants to admit, oh, they don't embrace whatever. No, it was hard. It was difficult. It was a journey. And so being able to say I didn't embrace my culture because I was ashamed of it. I was ashamed of being a Filipino because all people saw us as hospitalities, very hospitable, very kind, loving people, family oriented. It's like we were placed into a box right away
Hmm.
and we weren't given the opportunity to change.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're.
Filipino women are like this, right? Like like there's so many labels of who we were prior to even meeting us.
Mhm.
And that's what I was trying to get away from.
Yeah, I think that that happens like a lot with cultures in general. Like you get like people put these, like you said, put them in boxes, they stereotype them and assume that just because they're this person or what they look like on the outside is who they are on the inside. And we could all be different people. Like God has made us each unique. And like I love that you said
Mhm.
that when we were trying to say like why am I not like this person? Well, you'll never be like that person because you're two different people. We're all different. And when we try to be like others or different things like that, or we assume people like for me, I'm Hispanic, or people assume that I speak Spanish, or different things like that. And that's not the way that we grew up. Like we weren't raised to speak Spanish, and it was just the way that we were taught. It wasn't like nothing against us. And people
will judge you because you don't know something and like you're not embracing your heritage and stuff like that, or different things. Like, no, it doesn't. It's just not the way that we were taught. But it doesn't mean that we're
Mhm.
ashamed or anything like that. It doesn't make us any different. But I understand what you're saying, and that people judge you. And I have a friend who, um, she's Asian, and she's like, no, my name is Mary, it's not Kim. And that's what she's like, everybody assumes my name is Kim just because I'm Asian, and it's not, I'm Mary. And so I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying and stuff. And I love that but as you went through, you moved to the Philippines. Did you, like, how did you start your whole life over? Like, start your agency again, or like your business and everything, find a place to live and all that stuff. Like, how brave are you?
You know what? I wish I could say I was super brave. I'm going to tell you guys, I was so scared. I was so scared. I had no idea how I was going to do it all, how I was going to, I mean, I have savings, I have money. I was able to find things. And here's the thing, if you believe in God enough, everything comes to you.
Yeah.
In the most hardest times you ever think about it, it really does. I don't know. It always happens to me. When I thought like I just couldn't make it anymore, it all came like all at once. Like, here's your house, here's your place, here's where you're going to stay, here's where you're going to work, here's where you're going to find people. Because one of the gifts that he's given me is the ability to connect with people. That's my gift. I can connect people and I can really strategize right away on how to help them build their business, what they need to do, how to do things. And that's allowed me to talk. Like, me talking with you right now wasn't always something I did before. I was always a nervous wreck. I was always a person who couldn't even discuss things. But your question was, how was I able to restart here? The fact of the matter is Airbnb first. Okay.
Hmm.
If you go anywhere, guys, always trust Airbnb. I'm telling you this right now as a person who owns an Airbnb business. Always go through an Airbnb because when they're super trustworthy, you want to make sure that all the photos are 100% accurate. And if they aren't, Airbnb is there to protect you, right? That's one of the main things that this business runs so well.
Hmm.
So I Airbnb'd a place for a month before I could, like I put it on. I was like, okay, I'm going to Airbnb, see what we can find. I found one bedroom, large one bedroom in a place called Aqua. And I basically put myself in there for a month, tried to see if that's where I wanted to stay. So while I was there, then kind of looked around, did some things, went out, did the normal stuff, explored Manila. Didn't like it. Then I went to a different location called Tagaytay, which is like north of the here from this Manila location. Stayed there for 6 months. Then I moved to another location for 6 months and kind of just bounced around a lot. And
Hmm.
most of it was through connections and friends and people that found me places. And it was really just, being an English speaker, it really shocks them as well. Like, what are you doing here? I'm
Hmm.
just here to have fun. I'm on vacation, kind of like long vacation. And a lot of people did ask, like, what do you do? What kind of business you do? And I told them, yes, I own an agency. But my agency was like half inactive and half not. So I have a team that works on websites, funnel systems, CRM builds, and we help with email marketing and as well as like, all integrations and all that stuff, right? So basically, anytime like a client would come on, we would vet them and see if I had, and I'm sorry to say this, but I see if I wanted to have the energy to actually do it.
Hmm.
And I think the most clients I took, which is a lot less than what I usually do, was like 2 clients a month during that time. So yeah, well, okay, that one's simple. We can just do that one. That's fine.
Hmm.
And everyone was like, "You really don't want to work that much?" I'm like, "No, I really don't." So I took that time to kind of really define LDC and what it was all about. Because when people see agency, they're like, oh, it's an agency. They do like lots of like big clients and things like that. No, LDC actually stood for a legacy for me. It was really just about building that really defined cultured way of helping women build themselves in their legacy of their business. That's how this agency started. And it's been 15 years since I've had it. So I did that while I was here. And then also I allowed myself to travel. And then during that time, I gravitated into another business, which is the Airbnb, which actually is passed down to me. It's not
Mm.
mine. It was passed down to me all because I made a decision and trusted God with it. I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, I feel like everything that I've done here is a gift. It's all been gifted. It really has. Like, I feel like I haven't even raised a finger to do much. And then all of a sudden I'm being handed all of these things, like a business, the lands, the houses, like this condo. Like, it's all gifted to me. I've never, and it's hard to say, but my savings are fine. They're not like they're not depleted by any way, but it's just everything here is gifted to me right now.
But I think that, I understand what you're saying, but I think it also took action on your part. Like, you had to say yes to God. You had to say yes when you had that feeling in LA, Los Angeles, when you had that feeling like this is where I need to go, and like I need to be back to my ancestral ties. And you chose to be like, you could have chose Spain, because you have your Spanish and Filipino, but you felt that you need to go back to the Philippines. Like, you felt that, and that was God coming in and saying, you need to go here. And you saying yes. And that takes action. And so many times we get these nudges and we don't take action. And when you don't take action, like God's only going to give you so much because he needs us to be obedient to him as well. And so you said yes, you went and took it, you went and did all the things, but you had to put yourself in there, put yourself in the place. You had to say yes to, I'm going to go and do this, right? And all of these things come. And what we do so many times is we have fear, and we're like, we try not to go and do all the things. We have all this fear of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go here. I don't want to, I don't think, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. But you got to put our trust. And that's the thing. Like, we have to have trust in God and say, yes, I'm going to do this, right?
Yeah, it really was that big yes moment. And that big yes moment has shifted my life so much in the last 2 years. Like, I can't even imagine what I would have done if I had just kept driving myself away from that yes and really just following that surrender to him.
Hmm.
Because my way of life here, the way that I have really been able to contribute to the people, really been able to connect with the people. I've done so many different missions while I was here. I mean, yes, I go to church as well too. Most people usually do. I mean, I'm not an everyday person, but like I go when I can. And I've really found myself, I was the kind of woman before where I was like, because I didn't have my father after a certain amount of years. He passed away when I was 8. I was clinging to being loved by
Hmm.
men,
Hmm.
being loved. Like, I needed them to love me so that they would stay. That's not what I want now. Now I know what I desire and what I deserve in a relationship. And now it's like anytime I even go out on dates, I'm like, oh no, this isn't gonna work. Thank you.
Hmm.
I've learned to say yes to myself even
Hmm.
more. And that's where I really help the women that are in my program, like in my calls, to really understand. Because within these 2 years isn't just the 2 years of learning that. I've done that for many, many years. But as I've gone through here, it was more impactful. It was more
Hmm.
connected. It was more like the awareness was like, okay, that's what I was doing before, but this is what I was missing. Okay, got it.
Hmm. No, I think that
Right.
that's so important. And we go through this thing, like, in life, and the older that we get, and I wish that we could do it a lot sooner when we're younger, but life happens and we just kind of move through life. But as we go through like healing and things like that and realize that maybe we were like the feeling like your dad, having passed away at you being such a young age, it's like a feeling of abandonment, and so to speak. And we're
Mhm.
seeking love because we don't have that parental love, that fatherly love. And so then we seek it in other ways. And maybe it's not the best way that it's serving us. And so once we get through that and say, hey, wait, I am a child of God. I have a father who loves me, right? And I can go through and realize that. And it takes a long time, like for some people. For me, it wasn't until I was in my, I want to say 34s, 35, 36, I don't remember, when I really understood what it meant to be a child of God. And when I really meant, I did that deep dive. I was going through one of the most painful times in my life. And I was like, decided to go to church and decided to go and like really get into the spiritual and like the Bible and really understanding it and what it meant, and not just reading it at a surface level. I mean, I'm talking study guide and everything. And then you realize like, oh, okay, like I don't need other people to love me because God loves me, and that's good enough. And when you start, I don't need to be a people pleaser, and I don't need to, I could set boundaries and stop like all of these different things. And I love that you're
Yeah.
helping women get that clarity as well and saying like, hey, this is what you need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just, and you touched on a subject that's like really important as well. It's like, you know, you mentioned about the Bible, and like to me, I I had the hardest time. I remember when I first started reading the Bible, I would fall asleep when I was a kid. I would fall asleep, I really would. And I was like, okay, there must be something. And I used to think when I was in the spiritual woo-woo side,
Mhm.
I thought I was like, oh, it's not meant for me. I'm not supposed to read that. No, it was your spirit like reconnecting to him, reminding you that this is like where you needed to be. And there are some people who take it on and really push through about like how to be based on the Bible. But there are parts where God just speaks through you and with you, and
Mhm.
your relationship with him is the most important. Words are beautiful, but how you perceive your life and how you work through it with your life is upon you. So you can't just act like a Christian and then say you're a Christian and then suddenly, bash other people because of their religion. That's not Christian behavior. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like there's
Mhm.
there's aspects of being,
Mhm.
deeply connected with him. It's just like, what is your really real relationship with him at the end of the day?
Mhm.
My relationship with him is sleeping at night and like having a deep conversation about my gratitude for the day, the
Yes.
things that I struggled with. Like, God, I struggled with my temper today. Like maybe because I need more work. There are more things to do to assess myself, because he's already provided you patience. He's already provided you the love. He's already provided you all the things. Why do we keep asking for more? It's like really work on how you're seeing yourself when you're connecting with him. God, you gave me patience today, but that didn't work. Where do I need to really assess myself so that that patience that you've provided me is there for the next time so that I don't lose it?
Mhm.
Those are the kinds of things that I work with the women that I'm with, because that most of the times we're always asking for more, we're asking for more, we're asking for more. Ladies, if you're listening to this, you don't
Yeah.
need more. You
Yeah.
have enough. You are literally hand given by his hand that you have. He's given you the best thing in the world. One is to live the first thing in the morning. What do you wake up to? Sunrise.
Mhm.
Look at it. Don't
It's
say,
beautiful.
I gotta go to work. Look at it.
Mhm.
Like it's not just the gratitude of like a breath, it's the gratitude of everything that you have. Because everything you have can go away in a second. I'm
Mhm.
living proof that everything that I had literally split second into a car to a pole, nearly died,
Mhm.
can instantly happen. But he was like, okay, this one's a fighter. I'll keep her there.
No, I
Right?
think, yeah, I think that's so important. And I always like, I hear people like they only pray when they need something. And it's like, wait a minute. You don't pray when you need something. You pray that God, like when you wake up in the morning, thank God, like for getting me through this night. Like, thank you, God, for getting me through this night. Thank you for the sunrise and the sunset and all the beautiful things. Like I have probably over 10,000 photos of sunrise or the sunset because it just like I get a chance to go out there, or I used to take my morning walks every morning just to see the sunrise. And my schedule's a little different right now where I can't, but at night I can see the sunset. And it's just like
Yeah.
taking a photo of that beauty. And when I told you that I went and took that leap of faith and I went and took this one job, I was praying to God while I was driving to work, and I'm driving to work and I'm like, God, please just give me an answer. And I just felt like this, like kind of probably how you felt that when you landed. It was just like this, I can still get chills. It was just like a full on thing, like a breath of air hit me, like just, and it was like cold, but it was like, no, it was summer. It was August. So it wasn't like hot, but it was just like this whole thing just like went through my body. Like I felt this thing go through my body, this whole thing. And God said, I got you. And like I could feel him say, I got you. And I look and I'm driving, and there's this beautiful sunrise. And it was so beautiful. And it was like, I'm going to take care of you. And then the song that came on right after was it's something like Be Not Afraid, or like it was something to that song, like I'm going to take care of you. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, and we miss those signs because we're so busy like worrying about everything else and not even thinking that gratitude or having that conversation like, God, can you guide me? Can you lead me? And we're so quick to like, oh, I just need to pray for this because I don't have this. I need more money in my bank account. What about the money that God already gave you? Like, thank you for having giving you that gift of this, because all of the stuff we have here on earth is just temporary, right? He has given us so much, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we forget like all these items, all these things, they are temporary. They're a minuscule of the happiness that you're provided, right? Like, yeah, everyone says money makes you happy. Of course, that God provided that for you.
Yeah.
You think it
Yeah.
just came out of nowhere? Like that idea popped up in somebody's head and was like, hey, let's make trees to paper, paper to money. Somebody decided on that because God gave them that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come from sinful concepts. Everything here is created by our dear Lord. Everything. It's how you perceive and use it and how you see it is going to determine how your life is going to be. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you're not anchored into the concept of the fact that like he woke up and he was like, hey, I'm going to give my kids like some sunrise and some sunsets. I'm going to do it every single day. It's like a loving father that cares for
Mm-hmm.
you every day. And like not growing up with one, I realized, no, I shouldn't say I didn't grow up with one. I had a stepfather too, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll get into that next time. But not growing up with my real dad made me realize that I was missing that
Mm-hmm.
person a lot. And when I found my deepest connection with God here, I realized I was like, that's the father I'd been seeking for my
Mm-hmm.
entire time. Because my
Yeah.
dad, my real father, was the image of our father,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Yeah.
And like everything that he did here on earth, he did for me here on a spiritual level and a deeper connection. And it was beautifully connected. I remember just sitting on a beach in one of the locations here in Palawan, which is what if you ever come to the Philippines, everybody, always visit Palawan. Palawan is one of the most known locations here in the Philippines. It's so beautiful, so serene. It's literally like God made it into an image and was like, okay, I'm gonna start putting some starfish here, put some dolphins. Like it's cute. Like you can't get away from it and like go, oh, I never liked it. No, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna say, I absolutely loved everything I saw because he made it look like a heavenly gate location. That's how
Oh, wow.
beautiful it is. Yeah, it's one of the best locations I've ever been to. And I remember like sitting on there and I remember this one moment. I'm sitting on the beach and I'm praying and I'm with a bunch of people for a mission. We're working with women on how to deepen their connections and relationships, how to deepen their connection with God. And it was through our church. And I just remember sitting there and all of a sudden I could feel this moment where God was saying, daughter, I'm so proud of you. I was crying, and then suddenly I had tears in my eyes, and I was like, "What just happened?" No one was around me. It was nobody was around me. Everybody was doing their thing. Some of the women were fishing, some of the men were doing their other stuff. And I literally sat there and I was like, oh my God, what just happened? It was crazy. It was so beautifully crazy. And yeah, it intensified me staying here and it made me want to stay even longer, actually.
I think that that's really amazing. And I wanted to know, as we wrap up, like you can you talk a little bit about what you do? I mean, we talked a little bit about your coaching service, your agency, and all the things. Like, so if women wanted to work with you, what's the best way? I know that you're limiting your clients because you don't want to overwork yourself, right? And you also want to make sure that you're adhering to the calling, right? So if they were
Yeah.
interested, how could people work with you, or if they wanted to get in touch with you?
It's so funny because I've really dropped it down to the point where working with me for 6 months is literally like a month's rent. That's really about it. Because for me, it's not about the money anymore. It's about what I can do to support a woman going from one corner to the other who is either in a business, starting a business, or wants to redefine something within themselves as well. Because I really help them to dig deeper. A lot of us, sometimes when we start with business, we're really surface level. And so when I get into these intuitive connections with them, I really guide them to really redefining their call into a true purpose moment. So I help them with anchoring their purpose calling by really sitting down with them on every 2 weeks we sit down and we go through the plans, the core, the structure, the foundation of their business, and we help to set them up so that they can mainly focus on how to service their clients as well. So I do have a clarity call calendar that I have people come on, because I find it more connected. I like to really connect with the people who come on with me. And from there, I see how we both feel. And if it connects, there's no pressure. There's no, like, oh, you have to buy. No, I don't do that anymore. I used to. Don't get me wrong, I used to. But I find that when you're ready is because when God has told you you're ready.
Mhm.
So I know that when people are calling to me, it's because they're ready to actually move forward. So I help them to redefine their messaging and help them to build their website, help them to build their systems in the back end, make sure that their emailing systems is sequenced, and then we help to launch whatever it is that they're launching together so that
All
I'm
right.
there to support them as well.
And what would be the best way for them if they were interested? What's the best way to contact you for that?
So through Instagram is the best way to contact me. It's mariaellena.co. So it says work and travel and all that stuff because I really just like to talk about, life and inspiration. But my Calendly clarity call is right there for anyone who's interested to connect with me. And that gives us a 30-minute connection to really help us understand if it's the right fit. And as I said, my packages are in the space that really I'm here to support you. Because at the end of the day, as you know, I don't take on more than 1 to 3 clients anymore. So
Now,
yeah, I really like to make sure everybody's really like deeply, deeply connected to what they're doing. Because it's a powerful movement to allow yourself to be that connection and also to help them understand their connection with God at the same time through their work.
I think that that's important. And I will definitely make sure that I have all those links in the show notes as well. And so, listeners out there, if you feel like this is something that you have really resonated with this and God has given you the nudge, like you should make that schedule that clarity call, that means you need to do it. And then if you start to have doubt, again, right after you have that thought, that's the devil. Remember, the first thought is always God, the doubter is always the devil. Just from my
Mhm.
experience and my
Yes, yes.
and so definitely connect with her. But as we wrap up, I just want to say it's been an amazing conversation. I've really liked how we've kind of touched through everything and we've really focused on the spiritual side. And but as we wrap up, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and I ask all my guests this is, what is a word, a phrase, a book to read, some type of action, anything, maybe a favorite quote you have, but anything that my listeners can do today the first step they can do today in order to help them refine and shine?
So I'm going to bring up the Bible because I think this is one of the things that we really need to remember. And I say this with love and care because it is in the Corinthians. Love is patient. And I say this because if you are a woman or a man and you are seeking a partner, or you're in a situation that ideal for you, it doesn't just define relationships, it defines everything that you do. That word, love is patient, goes hand in hand from your career to your lifestyle to who you are. And every time I am in a moment where I sense that I'm, discomfortable, things are not going my way, I literally breathe this word in. Love is patient. And I just let myself breathe and I let myself connect. And I feel like every time I say it, God literally wraps his arms or his angels or whoever, I don't know, whichever one, he says, I've got you. You're right, which means I'm giving you this love. I'm showing you your patience within you. Now you can move forward again. Keep going. And then I just feel this like nudge and push. And I don't know, it's always been the one that has always caught my attention, even when I was a kid reading the Bible. I don't know why. It always has been the one. Love is patient. That's the one thing that reminds me every single day.
I think that's important. I actually have that right out my hallway. So when I step out my bedroom, it's right there. Right when I walk out, open up my bedroom, it's like the hallway. It's right there. We
Oh,
actually had that
I love
as
that.
well on our wedding invitations. So,
Oh, I
yes.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having you as a guest today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your time, and your what you're doing is such a beautiful, deep connection to others. And I inspire to have more deep connections with you. I think you are such a ray of sunshine in your own way. I love it. I do. It's so beautiful. Thank you for having me. Thank you to the listeners for joining us. But it was more for me, I felt like I was just having coffee with a friend right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refine and Shine. We hope you find valuable insights and inspiration to fill your journey of continuous improvement. Remember, the key to success lies in refining your processes and letting your inner brilliance shine. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and helps us reach more listeners like you who are eager to refine and shine in all areas of life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and additional resources and behind the scenes content. We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to reach out with any suggestions, questions, or success stories you'd like to share. As we wrap up, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Keep striving for growth, embracing change, and seeking opportunities to refine your skills. Together, let's continue to shine bright and make a positive impact in the world. Until next time, keep refining and keep shining.